Watch who?
Hello.
And welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Coombe.
Watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
Experiencing the 90s for the very first time. And you join us. I mean, actually, today, this week...
Wait, hang on, sorry. You make it out like... I mean, I did experience the 90s. I'm a 90s kid.
Well, I should have said experiencing the wilderness years for the very first time. And actually, it's quite fitting we're doing The Devil of Winterbourne today, because we are recording on Halloween.
We are.
I mean, by the time this goes out, it'll be like way past Halloween.
Halloween.
But us watching this today, it does really fit in with the theme of Halloween. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since we last recorded in recording time.
Not for you guys listening, but for me and Mark, yeah.
It's just busy times again, I think, like we said last week. I've got a few updates, though. Actually, just points of interest. The other day, so my mum keeps buying Doctor Who magazine.
All right, yeah.
She got the last issue and was like, oh, it's come with a free book. And it did come with a free book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not free. They put the price up twice and then it came with a free book. It
came with a book, yeah.
But it's Evil of the Daleks, written by Fraser Hines. And my mum held up that she was like, oh, there's a Doctor Who book. It's written by Fraser Hines. And I was like, well, it probably wasn't actually written by him. So basically, I can't remember if we said this came out about a year ago, the book. Jamie Fraser Hines.
Yeah.
Has written, someone's ghostwritten it for him, the story of the Evil of the Daleks, which is Victoria's first story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's come out in paperback. My mum says she's going to read it, and I was like, I wouldn't bother, but we'll see if she does and what she thinks about it. Because she did say Patrick Troughton was like the worst Doctor as well, so...
It's not going to be her favourite.
Who knows what's going on? Anyway, she sounded determined to read it.
Fraser Hines wrote it, didn't he? So why not?
Yeah, why not? What else has been going on? Oh, you've had your nails done.
I had my nails done, yeah.
Is it Van Gogh?
Yeah, they're Van Gogh with little cats on.
I do love a Van Gogh.
Yeah.
But we've been really busy as well. I'm sorry, I've written down like a list of things to talk about, and they're just all completely random. But
Sarah got nails done.
Well, that's what's been going on.
I'm full of a cold as well, so... This
is a sort of Neighbours Guy update, but not. So a while back, I keep editing it out whenever I sort of mention it, but I remember I had like Good Neighbours Guy who sent me a hard drive of all of the things. So basically, New Neighbours Guy.
Yeah.
And I was going to send him loads of the episodes that I've got on a hard drive, and then he was going to send me all of his. Great. He posted me a massive hard drive. Oh, Every. You know when we said about Every?
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
Because I was going to send it back.
You're asking me how to do it, and I did a screen share with you. Yeah.
So I haven't sent it back yet because I've just not got around to doing it. So it just took so long because they're like 5 gig an episode, and I've just not sat down. And he sent me this to transfer the episodes on in July. And and I feel so terrible. Like, I feel like I'm bad Neighbours Guy now because I've got his hard drive.
Bad Neighbours Guy. Bad.
And I started, it just takes a long time. And I've just not had, usually when I sit down, I've got free time. I'm editing the podcast. I'm not doing anything else. So every time I'm like, I haven't got time to sit down and do all these Neighbours episodes. I really want to. He's emailed like once to be like, hi, how's it going? That was about 2 months ago. And I was like, I'm really busy. It's taking longer than I thought. I will sort this out. So I have to do it by like this year. I can't have his hard drive. But it's like a really big, I looked up this hard drive. It's worth like 300 quid, this hard drive you sent me. He probably thinks I've nicked it, but I have turned into bad Neighbours Guy, everybody.
You need to respond to him and go, I have not stolen your hard drive. I'm so sorry. Life has been busy.
I know. I need to.
This year.
I know. I should.
And you can say that. You can say, I've put it out on public broadcast that I will do this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, maybe if you're listening, I'm sorry, but I will get this sorted. But it's
you know what? I'm a bad neighbours guy is definitely going to be a t-shirt in the future.
That's a good one. Yeah, I'm a bad neighbours guy. Oh dear. So that's been going on. What else has happened? Nothing much else. Oh, actually, I am going to a screening on Saturday in a couple of days. I'm going to see The War Machines on the big screen. Dodo's last story, Polly's first story.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Annika Wills on the big screen.
I'll check
That'd
you out.
be nice. So that'll be fun. So I'm looking forward to that. Love the War Machines. I'll tell you about that next time.
Yeah, tell me
after the fact. I think that's all. Oh, and also a listener, Christy, who has been tweeting us. She's caught up. We only said like 2 episodes ago. She was in the middle of like beginning the 80s, and now she's like caught up already. So well done.
Yeah.
I hope you are joining us for the 90s as well. I think she was, but she's got through quick. I mean, that is a lot of binging of episodes, I feel.
But you know what? When you're into something, you binge it. I'm binging something at the minute, a podcast.
Oh, what are you doing?
It's not exciting. It's actually quite upsetting and scary. The Coming Storm. It's about the political situation in America. It's a BBC one, BBC Sounds one. But it's all about like QAnon and stuff like that. But this is series 2. This is about like, the Capitol riots that happened, right? They're saying like it's staged and stuff. So it's all about that sort of like, it's more about that. I mean, the election's in a week, which is scary. We might like, Trump could be president again.
You'd be listening to that.
Actually, it's very scary. If anyone's into that, The Coming Storm. And then this series is leading up to this election and like, because there's this whole argument about will democracy fall, or has it already fallen?
I mean, I watched a video about the history of Atomic Kitten earlier. if anyone wants like something a bit lighter,
there's our recommendations.
They released their album in Japan first before it came in. Yeah. Let's talk about this week's story. We are back. Liz Shaw is back. Guess who's back? Liz Shaw's back. Liz Shaw's back. Liz Shaw's back.
Again. Yeah.
It's The Devil of Winterbourne. It's the second probe that we've done, and you really liked the last one.
I did enjoy the first one, yeah.
I've got notes. I started watching this 2 weeks ago when I thought we were recording, but we weren't.
We never were either. I don't know. Like, I did the same thing, though. I think we thought we were, and then we were, oh, wait, no, we're not. We never said we were recording this week. I hadn't even started watching. I was like, oh, we're recording. No, wait, we're not.
So I put my DVD on of it, but I only got halfway through because the DVD limit stopped working. It's like, I don't know, it's like scratched up and I can't fix it. I mean, they're like home, because it's like a small company and everything. I got it off Amazon, but they're like homemade DVD-Rs, and it just kept stalling like halfway through. So I was like, I'm going to have to watch it another time or watch it online. So that was a bit annoying. So then I stopped, and then I've done like the second half today. But I have seen this a couple of times before. I didn't see it at the time. We are in 95, I think now, in our order of going through things. So, and also, I'm sorry, because last time I said it was about 40 minutes, and then when I watched it, I was like, oh no, it's about an hour and 40 minutes. So I'm really sorry.
An hour 20. So 80 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we should go. I mean, I just want to go through the story and the characters and everything. Yeah.
Well, so it's characters, so that was one thing.
I feel like it's a bit of a step up for the last one. I enjoyed this more than the last one. And this is Liz Shaw. I mean, she's giving Miss Marple when she arrives in that car for the crime scene at the beginning.
This is much clearer. This is a much clearer story and direction.
We've just got Liz Shaw again. There's no other Doctor Who elements or anything. Everybody else is. We've got Doctor Who actors.
I did have a moment. I was watching it. I was like, oh, it looks familiar. I kind of forgot I was watching a Doctor Who thing. I just had a moment. I was like, oh, yeah, it's Peter Davidson.
Your favourite Doctor, yeah, turns up. Yeah, so, okay, let's go through the story of it and work out stuff. So, Liz turns up. She's been called to the scene of the crime. And I feel like this is more what a Liz Shaw series would be like, where she is called in, she's helping the police as like an extra sort of expert on the side, which I feel like is a great premise for would be a Liz Shaw series. And that's what she would do, because it didn't feel like Because last time she was sort of half journalist, half investigator. But I feel like now she's really like a
I
bit
think
more comfortable.
I think it was a much cleaner, straight in setup. This is unusual. We bring in probe.
Yeah. Although that the first scenes and the last scenes, when you're making a low budget video, do not record right next to a main road that is really loud.
I know.
It's just you just hear the traffic, and the poor sound guy on that. It's just like right next. This is just main road. You just hear traffic in the background the whole time. I'm like, maybe technology nowadays you could get rid of that and stuff, but back then, it's a crime scene. Someone's been murdered, and the detective that Liz Shaw is helping out, D.I. Burke, is played by Terry Malloy. So he was Davros, later Davros.
Oh, okay.
So he's a Doctor Who person. Oh, it's really horrible, actually. So someone's been murdered, then someone's like skinned a dog or something. It's really like gruesome. I mean, this is, again, the gore from last time. I mean, this actually, the DVDs are 12. I think it should be a bit more, actually. You see the head of the dog, don't you, and stuff, do you?
I don't think it was that bad.
I don't know. Oh, what am I talking about? Dog skinned. Here we go. So there's a school nearby, and they're like, oh, the guy that got murdered was the old head master of the school. So we've got that. Great. And it does go straight into it, doesn't it? She's there, she turns up the investigating, off she goes, like starting questioning people. There's not really much, background. Again, nothing really explaining. Again, I think this is just the fans who've probably bought the last one is buying this one. There's no need to go into anything. But even just watching that opening scene with the police and the extras and everything, that could be, if you're flipping channels, it's like early 90s Bill or something like that.
I thought that it is really good. I think throughout, actually, I think this one feels even more of a step up, actually. Like, other than like little things like the sound and stuff like that. But generally, I think it is a good step up, actually, throughout.
And Peter Davison plays the headmaster.
The new headmaster.
Yeah, the current headmaster, the new headmaster. So Liz goes to interview the new headmaster, and it's like a boarding school, and it's like the summer holidays, so there's not many people there. I don't really buy Peter Davison as like a headmaster. I don't know. Out of all the Doctor actors, I just see Peter Davison.
Do you? I thought he was really good. I genuinely forgot it was the Doctor.
There's something about his acting that is acty. I can't really explain it, but whenever Peter Davison is playing something else, I don't know. I don't buy it very much, even though I don't know. Especially that opening scene, and he's like looks at his watch and he sort of walks off. It's a bit theatrical. I don't know. There's something about it.
It was really good. I thought actually it was really natural.
Oh,
That's
okay.
interesting.
Oh, by the way, I'm keeping up my tally of actors that have been in all of these spin-offs. So after today, we've got joint top 3. We've got Sophie Eldred, Ace. We've got Carol Ann Ford, Susan, and we've got Peter Davison. They've all been in all of them so far.
Right. Okay.
Oh no, why has Carol Ann Ford got 3? Oh no, we've done 4, haven't we? So she was in Shakedown, and have I done it wrong? Carol Ann Ford's only been in 2. What am I talking about? Sorry, Carol. It's Sophie Eldred and Peter Davison. They've been in all of them so far.
Yeah.
No.
They've not okay. Sophie Eldred hasn't been in this one.
Oh, I'm really confused. So we've done 4.
It's hard to keep a tally. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
It's just the mark of someone's appearance. What's wrong?
I did this tally like 2 weeks ago, okay? And I haven't looked at it since.
Well, they've done 4, haven't we?
Hang on. Dimensions in Time, Zero Imperative, Shakedown, and this. We've done 4. So out of those 4, Sophie Eldred...
3. She's just not been in this one.
Sophie Eldred's done 3, and Peter Davison's done 3. There we go. So joint top, Sophie and Peter. Oh my God, I don't know why that took so much brain power, right? Back to the story. So, yeah, Peter Davison is headmaster. Oh, and then she also interviews one of the teachers, Miss Taplow. She was a good actress, I thought. So they're all talking about the old headmaster.
I thought a lot of the side people in this were good, actually. I thought everyone was quite good. Yeah. I'd no qualms or quibbles about acting in this, or
Yeah, no, great. And we got Louise Jameson again as Liz's boss. And there's a one mention that they got rid of Linda Lusardi. She's been transferred off. So no, so it was really Terry Malloy as sort of like Liz's companion this time, whereas maybe it was Linda Lusardi last time. She hasn't really got. She needs like a regular person to chat to. I think that's what's
See,
missing here.
I quite liked that she worked with whoever she's working with on that investigation.
Yeah, I suppose because Louise Jameson's been in it both as like her boss who can be like, oh, you've got to get you've got to get that sorted.
And they
But
had drinks with the wine and stuff, and like, but I liked that it was Liz trying to work with the local police.
I suppose the nearest is because in Miss Marple, there's always that inspector guy that's sort of a bit annoyed with her and they don't get on. It's that kind of relationship. Whereas Inspector Morse has that guy, they get on. Midsummer Murders, they always get on. I'm trying to think. Poirot has his guy that they always get on. Sherlock Holmes.
I don't think she needs it.
I think it's a shame that there's not like, because like Unit, you had all the different people and they could call in whoever. Here, it's really all of the conversations. It's her boss is like, oh, you're going to get rid of, if you don't get this done, your funding's going to go. And then but I suppose I did like the policeman who's like the skeptic, but then you can't have that every week. If this was a series, she couldn't be like, actually, it's supernatural. And then the guy's like, well, I don't believe you, all that. Do you see what I mean?
I don't know, but then we have that every single week in Doctor Who, Mark. Pretty much.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay. Anyway.
Let's show him up. Every single week we have him, aren't you?
Who are you?
Are you? I'm the Doctor Who? What? Right, yeah. There's a joke.
So you see so Liz is summoned with Louise Jameson to the office of like the guy that's taken over. And he is played by Jeffrey Beavers, who is Crispy Master.
What, sorry?
He's the Crispy Master.
The Crispy Master?
You know, when the Master went from the first Master, before he went to the second Master, he was like the Crispy Master.
Oh, that rings a bell. Yeah, okay.
You know, we only saw him like twice before he got the new body.
Yeah.
He was creepy one. He's played by him, who is also Liz Shaw's husband in real life. She's like, do you want a job on this probe? And he's like, yeah, great. He's a good actor. He's really good. I mean, budget-wise, again, there's that scene where we first see them, and it's in, like, obviously they're filming in some real, like, school or building they've got for the weekend, you know, because I noticed that's supposed to be, like, the Ministry of wherever in London, and then you get a scene later on with the headmaster's study, and there's the same wallpaper in both in both rooms, I noticed. But then also, and this is where it's a shame it slightly lets it down, it just needs that extra tight editing and that extra bit of maybe expertise behind the camera, because it's like a tracking shot, and I just see in my mind, I can just see them being really careful trying to track round and move, and it's just slightly not 100%. And that reminds me, because when I did my video production course, tracking was the thing. We loved doing the tracking, but it's so difficult to do. So what we used to do, it was like, assignment this week or whatever, make this film or whatever. And in the video production department, you had, this was back in the day. So the camera was like a massive suitcase, and the battery pack you wore around your waist, you had it on you, and you had the boom and everything. And you had to book out the equipment because there wasn't much, there was like lights and there was some tracking stuff. And the tracking was a massive bag, and it was like drain pipes basically. And you put it together and this like wheel trolley tripod thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, just thinking back, the years, you'd go into uni, you'd be like, right, we want to book this. We want lights, camera, we want tracking, we want this. They hand it over, and you should be carrying this round with you or have to keep it in your room or something, all of this equipment. But what we used to do, because there were so many groups and there wasn't enough equipment all the time, we get like the assignment of like, you need to make this film, and we'd be like, right, before we even know what we're doing, we're going to go and book everything. We're going to book the dolly, we're going to book the tracking, we're going to book a smoke machine, we're going to book this. And we just got all the equipment as soon as possible. And then we're like, right, now we've got this equipment, what are we going to do about it? And I did a film. One of my favourite things I did was, George and Mildred. I love Man About the House and George and Mildred. So we did a film about the life of Youtha Joyce, who played Mildred in Man About the House. It was like a biopic drama thing. It was only like 10 minutes. It was more sort of like a trailer of what we could do. And watching this thing, sorry, I'm going to link it to Probe. Um, what I reminded me, watching that scene, tracking in that room, was like there was a similar room at uni. We like got that room for the day, and we had to film a scene of Youtha Joyce because she went to RADA and then she quit and went off to do, you know, her own thing because RADA wasn't the right place. She was getting like bad grades and stuff or whatever. So I just remember that day. We had this lovely lady we booked. Actually, this goes off to another story. So what we used to have, I might have mentioned this before, there was a book in the library of uni and it was like all spotlight of like local actors and stuff who would like, if you needed anyone for the student films,
Yeah.
you could phone them up or whatever. And I remember going to the librarian and be like, can I look at the book of actors? And she was a lovely lady. She was like sort of 50 and she was like, oh, there you go. And she's like, oh, what are you doing? I was like, oh, we're making a short film kind of thing. And she went, oh, well, I've always wanted to be in the movies. Like this and leaned towards me, you know, something like James Bond or something. And I was like, okay, I'll keep you in mind. Anyway, we got these two actors. So we got this guy who was supposed to be like head of RADA. He was like this quite large guy. And we got him like in a suit and a cravat and everything. And then we had to get our Youtha Joyce lady. She was playing older, but we had to like make her young in the 60s. So we got a wig and like a like leggings and this. Anyway, I have to show you the pictures from it. Well, I can show you the film. It's terrible. And it was a really hot day, and we were in this room, just like the one in Probe. And the guy was behind the desk, and he was like sweating quite a lot. And we had to put radio mics on them. And there was me and my friend Bex, and I was like, Bex, you need to. I'm going to direct the scene. You need to put the mic packs on. And she was like, I don't want to touch that, man. And I was like, well, someone's got to put the mic on it. We were both like, none of us want to touch this way, man. Put the mic on it. I think Bex ended up doing it. Anyway, I can't remember where I was going with that, but we had a lot of tracking and stuff.
What's this got to do with Probe?
It's because that I just can feel when I see a tracking shot or something like that, I can just feel like I can see them all with their thing and they're going to go, we're going to do this and we're going to do this on this budget. It's exactly like what we did when we made The Life of Youtha Joyce. Anyway, where was I? Because actually doing these 90s ones.
Yeah.
Because doing these 90s ones, when we were doing like classic Doctor Who and stuff, that was like primary school memories. All of these are going to be uni doing these video production memories, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just brings it all back just watching that. And, you know, stuff like The Road and things. We did that, you know, the sound would be awful doing that. There was only a couple of times where I had to do the boom and hold it like this. And there was one where we did each other's dissertations. You had to work as crew on each other's short films in the third year. And I was working on mine and I had to work on this someone else's. And it was just hours and hours and hours. And I was standing there with the, I remember just shutting my eyes, holding the boom, like, I need to fall asleep right now. It was, whenever there was a break, they were filming in my student house in the living room, which was perfect. Because when there was a break, I went upstairs and had like 5-minute nap.
Of course you did.
I just remember being so tired, but just holding the boom up like that is just tough. It's tough. Anyway, sorry everyone.
These are the stories that people will come to expect when we get through the 90s. Mark.
There will be plenty of filming ones, but anyway, so so we got Mark Gatiss back again as Georgie or George.
Yeah.
So I think Mark Gatiss wrote this one again.
I think
so. It
came up right at the start. So I think he did. Yeah.
So he's sort of this sort of special needs guy. I mean, I don't think they would do that nowadays.
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't do that now, but it's a choice. But he wrote it.
90s things happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's there. He's like the gardener he sort of works there. And then there's these 3 students that are there for the holidays. Did you recognise Reece Shearsmith?
Yeah. Straight away.
Yeah. So, I mean, he looks exactly the same then as he does now.
Exactly the same. Like, exactly the same.
Because again, he's a great fan, and now he's gone on to do, all sorts of different things. But at the time, he's obviously a Doctor Who fan and wants to be involved. It's quite funny, actually, because they've just announced an audio series based on the Crinoids from Doctor Who, which is, what's her name? She was that eccentric lady that painted the plants. Amelia Ducar.
Yeah, yeah.
Amelia, the green things in that, the Crinoids. So they're doing a Doctor Who spin-off audio series starring Reece Shearsmith. Like he's literally recorded this year. Yeah, so he's come back to it now.
Everyone comes back eventually, Mark.
Yeah, but it's funny, isn't it? And I was also thinking, if Doctor Who was on in the 90s now, these are all the guest stars that would have been in the show. Do you know what I mean? In the actual show, if they were making Doctor Who now, they would have...
You say that. I don't know. I think because obviously he's friends with Mark Gatiss, isn't he? Because they go on to do League of Gentlemen and stuff like that. I don't mean League of Gentlemen. What do I mean? I do mean...
Oh,
but they go on to...
and Inside Number 9 and stuff.
Thank you. Inside Number 9. I meant Inside Number 9. They go on to do Inside Number 9. So I'm wondering if at this point it's more... they're just friends doing it, because he's not a big name or anything at this point.
No, but I mean, they're like up and coming actors. Like, in the 60s and the 70s, we were watching stuff and we'd watch actors from
the... an up and coming actor at this point?
Well, I'm sure he's done other stuff as well. I don't know. You think they'd be up for... I think they would have been cast in Doctor Who in the 90s as a part. We see people in the 60s, like the guy... that helped Vicky in the Revolution or whatever. He ends up as Boba Fett in Star Wars later on. They have these like bit parts because they're trying to get into the business. And I feel like Doctor Who was good for that in the 60s and the 70s and stuff. And we always recognise loads of people. But I feel like if you had all of the 90s of Doctor Who, all of those talent that we have now would have had bit parts and stuff. Maybe I feel like anyway.
I think you're being generous.
Okay. So they weren't good enough to get any actual TV roles, so they're doing probe.
There's less of those cameos as we go on that we've just mentioned. So that's why I was a bit...
We're not agreeing on anything today, are we? So they're at school. I mean, I did look up the other two that play the school, and that I can't find anything else they've ever done. They literally did like this. So I feel like they are playing a bit older for school kids, but never mind.
For sure. I don't think it matters, but yeah.
And then there's this whole bit where they go off and they find the dog. So the dog that has been skinned and put on a pole and stuff, sacrificed and is weird, is Mrs. Taplow, the teacher's dog, and she gets really upset that someone's taken her dog and killed it. But there's nothing so weird going on at the moment. It does feel a little bit like this would have been maybe a 90s CBBC show if you took out some of the horror.
I was gonna say, my face turned then as you were saying it.
But just because you'd always get those
is it you
between
teacher or something?
The what?
The Demon Head Teacher.
Yeah, Demon Head Master. That kind of, you get those Demon Head Master type things. And I feel like it's that kind of casting, that kind of thing. You might have something like that where it's set at a school and there's some weird culty thing going on. If you take out some of the more adult themes, it could easily be that. That's all I'm saying. And they're in this boarding school, and then they're back and they're chatting in their room. They've got the smallest beds I have ever seen, if you look.
Boarding school beds, love. That's boarding school bed.
No, but they're child-sized bed. They're lying on that bed. They cannot fit on that bed. It's
that's boarding school beds, love.
I don't know. It looks like doll's house beds.
No, they're boarding school beds. Trust me. I'm 5'4", and I fit on a boarding school bed perfectly. That's boarding school beds.
And they're talking about the history of the house and stuff, and some guy that founded it and everything in the history. And then it gets a bit weird that they're all creeping around at night time in the attic. So we've got Christian, Andrew, and Luke are the three guys.
Yeah.
And
I don't know which one's which, but yeah.
Well, Andrew is Reece Shearsmith. Christian's the one with curtains.
Yeah.
And Luke's the other one. Very 90s.
Very 90s.
So 90s. It gets a bit weird, but they're sort of creeping around. You're like, what is actually happening? Nothing weird, probe, actually happens, apart from this guy that's been killed nearby, until at night time, Luke supposedly goes missing. Like, he goes up into the attic. You see him go up into the attic. He follows the guys up into the attic, and then he's like not there the next day, and they're sort of like looking for him and stuff. I mean, I'm skipping a bit of the plot probably, because then Luke does turn up like the next day and it's fine. So Liz is like interviewing Peter Davison, being like, isn't it weird that where's your kid? Because he's supposed to be like some guardian of him or something. What's going on? And then he turns up and it's like, it's all fine. So there's something weird going on. So was it like keeping your, I mean, the length of this, it's a film. Was it sort of keeping your interest as it was going on, or did you find it slow, or?
I didn't find it too bad. Yeah, I mean, like, I thought there was enough going on. Like, you have the whole thing with the badge of the dog or whatever, and then, like, yeah, there was enough going on. It did sort of keep interest. I only stopped because I was like, I was watching it on my phone. I think I was watching it on the TV. That would have been easier.
Well, sort of the next big thing that really happens is then Luke is found dead, like drained of blood, and Peter Davison is standing over him with like rope and stuff, and it's like, I found him this way, and he gets arrested. And then we have some sort of intense scene. So it's like the interview. This is like the Bill proper, where Peter Davison is in the interview room.
I thought all that stuff was really good.
And they're trying to get out of him what's going on. And he sort of, but then I was thinking, okay, this is too easy. He's found standing over the body, and then that is not your guy. There's something else going on here. That was too easy.
You know that as well. And he doesn't admit to it straight away either. He's saying, like, I didn't do it. And then eventually he goes like, yeah, fine.
Well, the detective like starts talking to him, doesn't he? And then they bring in Louise Jameson as like the boss to be like, right, let's get him. Then Liz, obviously star of the show, Liz, is the one that gets it out of him. And then they start talking about this like culty stuff and weird stuff. And I quite like that you don't see any of the actual cult stuff or anything, because then, you know, in culty stuff in Doctor Who, we don't like it. It's sort of referred to as like there used to be a cult about the guy that built the house, blah blah blah, and then Peter Davison does confess. I think
this is when he says like, I did it, and because then later on she goes, you didn't actually do it. You're saying like you did, but you didn't do it. Like, you're saying what happened, not the This
is where I get a bit confused, because this is where the DVD stopped working for me in that really intense interview scene. I kept putting it in, cleaning it, putting it in, and it just wasn't working. Yeah, Liz isn't convinced that it's just him. What's her name? Mrs. Taplow is now head teacher while Peter Davison's been arrested, and she's talking to the other two guys, and they're packing up their stuff to go because obviously someone's been murdered and they're closing down. And then his suitcase, Christian's suitcase, opens up, and there's the dog collar. And she's like, why have you got my dog's dog collar? Have you got something to do with it? And they're looking at each other. And Rhys Shearsmith doesn't know anything, but then Christian's like, oh, we just found it. And then
he's like, what are you talking about? And then,
yeah, and then this is where we know something else is going on, because then Liz comes in and Miss Taplow is dead. she's tapped out. And then she's like, uh-oh. So then it's actually Christian is the one that is sort of behind this. Well, he was in a cult with Peter Davison and the guy that got killed at the beginning. They were sort of all in on it together. And throughout, you keep seeing that picture of that portrait, don't you?
Yeah. It did some weird splitting them back together at one point. That was,
So the portrait is of the guy that is supposed to be head of this cult ancient ago that they built it. And it looks like Christian. So it sort of gives it away, because it's literally the first shot of this picture of him. So if you're sort of keeping an eye on stuff, you could work it out. So it's not really a twist. Anyway, Christian captures Rhys Shearsmith and wants to like sacrifice him. And this is where at the end, I mean, they're filming on it's like a actual, what do they call it? What's the name of that road?
An A road? A motorway?
Motorway, that's it. I don't know what's happening to my brain. They're on the main road, and you know those bridges over the top. I mean, people driving by when they're filming that, it's not like they've shut the road. And like, if people are driving by and you see someone trying to kill Rhys Shearsmith with a broken bottle, I mean, I suppose you'd see a few cameras and stuff, but you might not. It wouldn't be like a massive crew.
Did really well, actually. That whole stuff. I mean, like, other than the sound stuff, but like, I can sort of forgive it for the time and what's going on, and like, the acting's really good and strong, and I
mean, it works quite well as like a sort of, Act 3 sort of. I suppose the only thing that you're missing from here, from like a normal sort of murder thing, is a bit of action in terms of like an action sequence or something, which they obviously can't do. Normally, I feel
Well,
like
there
there'd
is
be
that
some
sort
kind
of anticipation drama of like, he's got the bottle, there's the suspense of like, will they get there? You've got that element.
So yeah, so Liz turns up and is like shouting, don't do it. He's got Reece Shearsmith tied to the bridge, and he's going to kill him. And then Liz is there, and I'm having flashbacks to Liz standing in Albert Square behind the railings that we saw a few weeks ago. And I was imagining if it was a proper Doctor Who, you'd have Liz there like that, being like, "Don't do it," and then you'd have John Pertwee as the Doctor being like, "Christian, don't be stupid, don't do this." I could just see John Pertwee in this scene shouting at him like, "Get away from him. You're not the reincarnation of," doing all of that stuff. But Liz does it brilliantly. The detective guy gets like knocked out and everything. So yeah, I mean, it's, again, budget wise, it goes from being very dark to very light. I mean, when they're filming it, the continuity isn't like 100%.
I can forgive it though. I can forgive it.
But the guy who plays Christian, so he's basically thinks that he is like the reincarnation of this guy, head of the cult. And it turns out sort of Pete Davidson sort of like groomed him into thinking that he was that. It's all a bit weird. And then Peter Davison is like not arrested at the end, and he's fine because he's there.
That we know of, I guess.
And it's sort of left open because Christian then's going to like jump off the bridge, but he sort of doesn't, and then he just disappears. Yeah, it packs it in for like an hour and 20. I feel like if I've bought this on video at the time for like £15, I wouldn't be shortchanged. I'd be like, this is quite exciting.
I think it works. I like the idea of it as a series. I think each one though has more things to answer. That's kind of, I guess, its point.
Like, I don't know if when they were making it, they knew they were going to do more. Like, I'm not sure if like each one was like, "Oh, we'll see how it goes. Oh, we better do another one."
Or whether they'd planned for 4 or what. Yeah. I'm flying, Mark. Sorry.
That's all right. We'll wrap up. Yeah, we'll wrap up.
The lampshades have not worked at all here.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Okay. So, yeah, I think this is my favourite so far of the ones that we've done.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'd say so. I'm like, definitely enjoyable, definitely easy to follow, longer than 40 minutes, but I didn't mind it. So, yeah.
There we go. Good record so far. Okay, well, I'll tell you what's happening next week. So it's not, I mean, there are more Lizzes because you looked it up and you know there's more.
Yeah, Liz. I know there's
4. But it's not Liz next time. We've got, so IP Watch, so the legal IPs, the IP,
okay.
Intellectual property.
Oh, right, okay, IP. Sorry.
IP. The legal IPs for the next film is The Yeti, Victoria.
Yeah.
Sarah Jane.
Right.
And Professor Travers, Anne Travers and Professor Travers. Yeah. You love that one. Okay. All of them. And Kate. Oh, and the Brigadier.
And the Brigadier, right.
And Kate Lethbridge Stewart.
Right.
Which I'll explain because she's, obviously, you've seen her in the new series, Kate Lethbridge Stewart.
She's new to this, yeah.
But obviously played by someone else in this one. And it's called Downtime.
Right.
And yeah, it's by a different company again. And yeah, everyone, it's out. It's actually uploaded officially 100% on YouTube in crystal clear quality. So everybody go and check out Downtime on YouTube, and then you can sort of watch along with us for next week. So I'll just send you the link for that one. It's nice and easy. It's about an hour, I think, as well. And if you remember way back when we did the Abominable Snowmen, the monks in the Himalayas, and we really didn't like that one. We had, Pad.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a sequel to that because I showed you that bit where she's screaming at the beginning. That is Downtime.
Right.
Victoria, young Victoria, going back to the monastery. Right. That's how it starts. So I don't want to put you off anymore.
Okay.
But it's all tied up into that. So that'll be our next one. Yeah, I'm glad this was another success. So there we go. And I've talked way too much this time.
It's fine because I couldn't.
Okay, everybody. Well, we hope you enjoyed Devil of Winterbourne as well. Let us know what you think if you watched it.
And you can find us
at 2 Watch Who and Twitter and Instagram, and at buymeacoffee.com/2watchwho. Thank you so much for everybody that has supported us on there. You don't have to subscribe. You can just buy us a one-off. So a couple of people have done that recently as well, which is really nice.
Thank you.
And that keeps us going, especially through the 90s, which we absolutely need. But yeah, we'll see you all next time for Downtime, everybody.
Yeah, buys me lemsips.
Bye.
Bye.
To watch who?